Okay, welcome to the third development log for Glenwich. First off, thanks to Brian for giving me this cool software to record my screen with. It's pretty fun. Hopefully, it doesn't give you nausea when you watch because I think it does some fun zooms. But yeah, I just want to go through the new web client, talk a bit about the engine, what's been done, if I can remember, and what's coming up. And I'll try and keep this within 20 minutes. I'm hoping in the future that I can have my artist, my fellow, um, what's the word? I don't know, knight in shining armor. I don't know, my helper, my right hand man, Fruity, on the next episode perhaps. And we can go through stuff together. But for now, it's just me. So yeah, this is the new look for Glenwich. And actually, maybe we should start with the most controversial change, which I want people to give me their feedback on. And that is that we're now officially in alpha. And what that means is, well, things have always been changing and we've always had bugs and incomplete features. And we're still rebalancing stuff all the time. So hopefully that keeps going because that's a good thing for progress. But yeah, we're now at a point where I think the game's pretty much ironed out. We know what we want to do, where we want to go, how we want to do it. And the engine we have recently launched has really closed the gap on that as well. So yeah, I think we can officially say we're from early preview going to alpha. There won't be a beta. We'll just go straight for the V1 release. Hoping to put the game on Steam. I think that would be pretty cool. I was looking into a native Apple build, but I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon. And yeah, we've got this wonderful new web client that I'll be going through today. So yeah, that's the controversial news, and it's controversial because we're going to do a reset. However, if you've played for a long time, and I know a lot of people have and are original players, we're going to have a way to keep your save, keep your items and your skills and your stats, hopefully a leaderboard as well. Except we're going to chop the marketplace and the guilds features, and you'll be able to convert your account into the new kind of post-reset world, but maintain your account and your character. Except, yeah, a couple of sacrifices have to be made. And I'll say this, I hope that in the future I can enable a marketplace of some kind, or maybe a small guilds feature for the kind of legacy characters, if you will. It's hard to make everyone happy, but I think a reset is right. And we've done polls, many polls, many controversial polls. And I think old players don't really like resets, but I think for the kind of health and the future of the game, it makes a lot of sense to do. And I think it'd be really fun as well to have a clean slate where everyone could start from again. Yeah, so that's that out of the way. In terms of the feature front, let's go through the recent updates from bottom to top, as in last to newest, earliest to newest. These are not exhaustive. This is not an exhaustive list at all, so you'll have to see the patch notes if you want to see more detail. But starting off with the guild system. Actually, let's before we even do that. So we have a new have a new engine and web client. So I rewrote the engine 3 times. Obviously, we had the original one when I was kind of still discovering what kind of game I want to make. And then we moved on to like, okay, let's refactor it a bit, try to do that. And then it moved on to, okay, maybe we shouldn't remake the whole thing, rewrote it in Java because my day-to-day job is writing Java. So I thought, hey, why not write a language I am doing in my day-to-day? Ended up putting a bit of Kotlin in there. If you're familiar with programming languages, Kotlin is, I think, a language by JetBrains who build a very famous IDE used for Java, and then they built Kotlin, which is a bit more of a functional twang to the JDK ecosystem. And I only chose it because I liked using it. It's more expressive. The test cases are really nice to do as well. You can write like human readable test cases. Did that, got pretty far, and then I had a revelation, one of those two, that everything's just data. Actually, maybe I should focus on that first. And I did that, and then I rewrote it again in Go this time, which is the language it was originally written in, the engine. Simplified so much stuff, threw a lot of things away, focused on the core kind of data things. And now we're at where we are now, which is we use WebSockets rather than streamed HTTPS request responses. I wish I did that from the start. WebSockets are actually pretty easy to scale comparatively, especially with a low player count like this. Still blown away with how many players there are, but of course, we're not dealing with tens of thousands of players. And even if we were, WebSockets would be super easy to scale, especially using Go. The system I used to use was basically they added streaming to HTTP, I think. It's pretty good, but to be honest, it's not really sustainable for games where people stream data constantly. I think WebSockets are much better for that. What else? It's in Go, use WebSockets. I think I did something a little bit clever. Maybe I'll write about it one day if I ever want to talk about more on like building games like this, because I think there's a very fundamental approach to building them that I kind of discovered along the way. And I think it's a really good system that I would recommend, but I won't spoil it for now. But essentially, the game is pretty fast. Most ticks can be simulated in microseconds. So, for context, the game engine runs and has run even on the old system with 600 millisecond ticks. So every 600 milliseconds, there's like a concrete tick of stuff going on. And so this is kind of a performance goal where, okay, we have this much time to do as much as we can for as many players as possible. And sometimes it's been a challenge to keep under that, surprisingly. And yeah, with the new way that everything's been approached, we now do things in microseconds, which is insane. That's really good for performance. In theory, there are like optimizations that can be done, but at the moment the game runs ticks in real time, and it tries to make everything as fair as possible, where all players suffer if there is lag, which I think is fair. So that's pretty cool. I'm just trying to think what else there is to cover. I think those are the main things. And we got this nice shiny client, a lot of placeholder art that hopefully just gives you an idea of what the future will look like. I think it's pretty neat. I wanted to capture the kind of, if anyone's ever played Adventure Quest or Dragon Fable, like the kind of old artist entertainment games. I think I've done something like this. And we've gone into the simpler thing where you can see just the home screen. We're trying to keep it social, so we start off with the tavern, which is where you see stuff, updates, whatever. We've got a link to the survey, and I'm going to go through that in a minute, actually. We've got a featured guild. This needs a little bit of love, admittedly. And then we've got the board here where I announce the alpha, and then people can post posts or ask questions or whatever. And it costs money to post here, 100 gold coins. It used to be 1,000, but I thought maybe that's a bit expensive. That will probably fluctuate in time. And then if we go through the bottom nav here, so we've got, my own player page. I can see my stats affected by what I'm wearing, or what I'm equipped. I can see my equipment loadout, and I can hover over this kind of bugged that you should be able to see a slot that shows what I can equip. You can see all my stuff. Got my inventory, where I've got some things, and I can go through these. I can sell them in place. I can open a chest. Pretty proud of this. And the classic confetti. I can open another or close. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Also, I think all items stack now. This is something no one's commented on, but people used to ask me a lot for this. Like, can you make equipables stack? Like this cool spinny thing kind of doesn't really work on like items that have perspective like this. But for weapons, I think it's really cool, even though it's a 2D game. It's just kind of fun. What was I saying? Oh yeah, a lot of people asked for things to stack. Didn't do that, but we have done that now for the new system. And I think it's just easier as well to store data that way too. And there's less edge cases where if you leave something harvesting or crafting, you can just make endless of that item. We still got the guides. They're a bit meh, but they'll get better. So you can see the attack guide shows all the weapons you can equip and what level attack you need to equip them. Same with defense for equipping armor. And yeah, you'll see a couple of them are a bit more sparse. They'll fill out as we go. What else? The abilities. This is a big one. So the first slot is deduced based on your weapon. So this is an auto thing. Actually hasn't updated here, but this needs a bit of work. There's a couple of bugs here. This will all be ironed out in time. But the idea is you can then equip in different skill trees, like particular skills you want. Haven't figured out how to render these with a nice tree, so I've just gone for boring squares at the moment. The abilities will change. Some of them don't work, but hopefully this is an exciting idea of what there is to look forward to. I want to go for supporting the Holy Trinity kind of approach where you can have a tank, a healer, and DPS in whichever way makes sense for your combat. And then if you go to tasks, this one needs a lot of love, but you can accept tasks, do them, and you can claim rewards for doing your tasks, which is fun. And that lets you get these chests. I've got loads of marks here, so I can do a couple of these. And these marks can be used for also unlocking recipes as well. We've got the shop. I need to clean this up because the width isn't the same as all the other pages. But here you can support the game. You can become a member where you get an XP boost in all skills. You get primordial coins every month and your offline timer increases. This can be purchased with in-game currency as well through a bond. So you can get a bond with real money or primordial coins. So I can buy a bond, I can use the bond, and I can extend my membership, or I can claim my monthly coins, or I can buy a bond and I can sell it to other players who can also gain these benefits too. So hopefully there's going to be the opportunity for there to be like a kind of circular economy where if people want to spend real money in advance quicker they can, but then also they can effectively use that to trade for existing players' efforts, which is kind of fun. From that, existing players can also gain the benefits too, where you could easily buy this with money that you make from doing activities or skilling or whatever, selling stuff on the exchange, for example. We've got skins. This needs a lot of work, a lot of love, but the idea is you can equip skins. That's a little bit of a bug there where it resets the character state for some reason when I do that, but ignore that issue. You can get badges for your name for a bit of flair. A lot of these will go because they're using the legacy styling, so these will be restyled. And I guess maybe players... Actually, maybe we won't restyle these and just keep the originals. But we'll introduce ones in a newer, kind of higher raster style. And then you can get name badges as well, or name colors, so you can have... does it still animate? I might need to fix that. But you can equip a name color, which is shown on, I think, the high scores and a bunch of other places. And then we've got buffs as well, so if you want to... This double scrolling is annoying. If you want to kind of reward all the players on the server, you can do that by adding time to a particular buff. Yeah, sometimes if I make a mistake and I feel bad, I might chuck on an XP boost for everyone to make up for, say, outages and stuff. And then we've got the high scores. So we have a seasons thing where you can basically see how much XP you can get within a particular season. And this is across all skills or it can be individual skills. And then we've got the all-time leaderboard as well. So you can see how far you've come since we've started, pretty much. And again, with the reset coming, this will be reset to 0, which will be pretty fun. So you can start all over again. Let's go back to the game. We get this wonderful welcome back screen to see what happened when I was away. I've not been doing anything, so nothing. And here I can leave feedback and say whatever I want. And this will get sent straight to the Discord that I use with Fruity, the art guy. And we read every single one, so please do send your feedback. So that's the bottom bar. Going through the recent updates, we've had a guild system launch, so you can create and join guilds. You can have a guild bank. You can set up assignments to coordinate kind of effort across your guild, and you can level up a guild. Any feedback on this, let us know, but we're hoping to really extend this and make it a lot more interesting soon enough. Welcome back, Modal. You've just seen that. The tavern being our home, I touched on this, where when a player starts the game, this is what they'll see. And the idea of this is to encourage discussion and kind of a sense of community that, there's people here that, want to help, or you can see what's going on, or like how much things have advanced. So, for example, this is quite fun. You can see how many monsters have been slain, how many people have died, not many, and how much XP has been gained. This actually resets every time the server restarts. It won't in the future, but for now it does. So this is actually much higher probably than it looks, or should be much higher. And then we've got the combat refinements. This is a work in progress patch that I will be adding more to in the coming days, I hope. And then, so we've got these tabs on the top right as well. This is where you'll kind of navigate most of the key interfaces of the game, so the key mechanics. The main one is explore, so this is kind of solo activity, and party activity is on the unite tab. Here you can create a party with like your friends or random people. I won't do that now because, no, I won't. I'll show the explore page, which is kind of the same thing, except Unite does it with multiple players. I might look into doing something like the party lobby system with resource gathering, potentially. But for now, this is just the combat. And then we have the explore page, which is kind of where most of the meat is. So you've got services, so you've got the bank. Hopefully this loads a lot nicer than it used to. And you can export loads of items. You can bank them all again. You can deposit everything. You can categorize by the items have categories on them. Some of them need to be categorized still. Like this should be food, maybe burnt food. I don't know. So that's pretty fun. We have the exchange, so you can buy and sell stuff. Should be pretty self-explanatory, and there's lots of improvements to come on this. But at the moment, we just want to make sure people can trade with each other. And then we've got the guild page. So here you can join a guild. Some are free to join. These should probably be at the top, and these should probably be kind of hidden. Or you can create your own one. It costs a lot of money though. This is to incentivize, people playing the game first and not just coming along and making a guild. So yeah, hopefully we'd rather you join an existing one as well. Well, you do what you like, but you know what I mean. At the moment, this is kind of the mindset we have behind pricing these things, for instance. And then we've got some of the key services. So you've got your workshop for crafting, and you can click to craft a recipe from your recipe book. You can buy recipes with marks. It seems to have bugged out. Either I'm on a different character. I should have many more marks, as you saw. Either I just spent them all. And we have this slot for, oh dear, actually as well, the inventory is empty, so a couple of bugs. And we've recently added this kind of section here. I think tools probably needs a new name, but the idea is this is where we store modifier items. So the idea is you could have bones in here, and then you could put a pestle and mortar in here, mortar and pestle, whichever order you say it in, and this will crush the items. The tools will remain in your inventory, but the materials are consumed, is the kind of idea there. So for example, you could put a knife in here, or even I want to do like a sword because it's still sharp. And then you can, cut things. We're going to have molds for like making arrow tips, for example, maybe other things too. So I think that kind of adds an interesting flair to the crafting system. What else we got? Cooking, pretty self-explanatory. You don't have any food to cook or fuel, but the idea is you click here, you add your food, and then it cooks. Fun stuff. And then a vendor, so you can buy things from the shop if you need stuff for whatever reason. And then the Fountain of Wealth, which is pretty much just to sacrifice money for XP. So you get 1 zeal XP per gold sacrificed. The idea is to have a money sink, and it becomes a bit of a wealth leaderboard indirectly. In that it's true disposable income if you don't care about the money so much that you sacrifice it for XP. That's the idea there. And we're hoping we can maybe tie that back into a mechanic in the future as well. If you have any ideas, let us know. Then we've got gathering, so you can gather trees, you can mine, and then we've got dungeons. This is a very new feature, so this one is, I think I need to refresh, because some of these, oh no, it's fine. So you can join here, you join a queue, and then after the time is up, you enter into a fight with a boss. And it's like an area-based boss, which is pretty cool. And the idea is to drop special items that will be high value, high stats, but low level requirements. So in theory, you could sell them for money if you want. They'd be quite rare, so there's not many of them. and then newer players can be gifted them by their friends to give them a head start, or they can be bought with money on the exchange. If you want to throw money at a problem, maybe you've done a lot of resource gathering and you want to cash out and do some combat. It's a kind of quick way to get a head start there, for example. And also, they're just kind of cool items, and I hope to actually add a lot more wild bosses in the future. Some I'm really, really excited about, actually. And then we open the map, and here you can see we've got sections. These don't really make sense. We've tried to group them vaguely by level ranges, but you see some have very high overlaps. This will all be redone, to be honest, but just not now. And then there's some empty locations as well that need to be populated, that used to be populated but aren't anymore. So this will all be changed, but for now, you can travel to another place, and they do have different backgrounds as well. So if I go to, where's another one I did? I think it was Dragonspire. Doesn't actually load, although it does. You can see there's a dragon kind of thing. This is all placeholder art and will be redone eventually, but just to give you a feel for how it works. And then Duskwater Arch has a similar style too. I think it's pretty fun. Makes it look a little bit more professional, I guess. I think that's pretty much it. So, oh yeah, we have a chat. Yeah, my chat. And you can talk to people, you can ask questions, we have general tabs. This is going to get improved in the future. You can also help. You can do trading on the exchange to coordinate your trades, look for guilds, and then there's game stuff. Most of this is just kind of world messages, like people getting treasure chests. These probably need to be chilled out a little bit. I think I'll make those for like more interesting drops in the future. And then also just other game messages, like when the server restarts, it tells you this is a lie though. Doesn't necessarily mean it's maintenance. I need to fix that. What else we got? I think that's the key stuff, to be honest. Yeah, that was quick. So, there it is. There's the rewrite. There's the new engine. There's the new client. A lot more to come. I'm hoping the style and the direction we've got here will stick around for the foreseeable. So I don't expect to do any crazy breaking changes. So that means things will be more stable, which is pretty good. Yeah, thanks for watching. I'm going to quickly run through the feedback. So this is the survey feedback. Let's see. Oh no, people put their names in, so ignore that. So what time? I've been going for 22 minutes, so I'll try and do this in like 5-8 minutes. But yeah, so this is the feedback from the homepage. So if you want to fill this out, I will read this. Maybe I'll make a note of the last time we recorded feedback and spoke about it, and then I'll do newer ones in the next videos, maybe with Fruity, for example. So what do you enjoy most about Glenwich? I won't bore you with the flattery. People like combat, which is quite fun because combat has always been something that's quite weak in the game, which is interesting to see that people now enjoy it. Unique spin on idle progression, thank you very much. I hope it will be even more unique and interesting in the future. What do you want to see next? So skills, I guess people want more skills. I don't know what skills people want. It's pretty open-ended, so if you have any ideas, let me know. World bosses, we're doing that. It's kind of been shipped, so there you go. Quality life improvements, those will come, and then guilds, that has been shipped. All of these things are early mechanics to shape an idea of what it could look like, and then please do give feedback, because that's how we steer what it will look like in the future. So things like world bosses and guilds, if you don't like the systems, let us know, and we will try and improve them. And I think what's there is just my idea of what I think would be fun or interesting. But, I'd never get something right in the first time, and it takes lots of iterations to be something good. So, yeah. But hopefully that can reassure you that we've addressed some of these. Likewise here, skills, quality of life, PvE, skill tree extensions, that definitely needs to be done. Stabilization, so as we're in alpha, things break, but going forward, once we hit stable v1.0, which we're looking for about June this year, when the reset comes, maybe a Steam launch, the idea is that we won't release stuff on the same day. So a lot of the time when I'm working, I will literally push the code and you'll see the message and the game will restart and something will probably break. So that shouldn't happen anymore. We'll have an actual test server that people can join and help us test things, and then we'll release stuff in actual candidates, like a monthly release, which should be quite exciting as well. Like if you like seeing new things every month, you'll see like a patch come out, and there'll be hopefully more content. And with the new engine and the client, I'm hoping to spend a lot more time on actually doing new content. So some of the stuff I've not talked about is I've recently revamped the entire armor set for magic and ranged combat kind of skills. So, we now have magic armor, which is pretty cool, all the way to max level, same for ranged. Whereas before we didn't really have anything, and there was no stats, so that kind of sucked. So hopefully that is pretty good. And I'm planning to do a revamp to basically make abilities work properly, make ranged work properly, magic work properly, etc. And this is kind of why I think a reset is a really good idea, because we're discovering how to balance these systems, what makes the most sense, and it's hard to do that. And I think it's just more fair and more fun for new people to, who want to play a polished game, to come along and know that nothing will change in the level tiers for a particular skill, for example. Quality of life improvements. So everyone who's put this, please do let me know, because I don't know what improvements you want. I mean, I try and improve the quality where I can, but if there is anything specifically, do let me know. Rare crafting items dropped from gathering. Need to create the best game items in game. I think I know what that means. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think we don't really have anything like that to basically build items with. A lot of the time, the rare drops are like, you can use this. So I think that's pretty interesting. Maybe one example is we added fire essence, which is dropped from dragons, to make dragon gear. Though it's not particularly rare, but maybe it would be cool to make something like that, but a bit rarer. Again, I have some hopefully fun ideas for the future on this. So this one I will skip because it's the same kind of thing. Better market. Yeah, agreed. The exchange is a double blind auction, which is basically what RuneScape does, where you can pitch items at a price and then we match them. We allow for partial orders, and the broker, the system, will steal the difference if there is profits made on those orders. We recently added the ability to see items. The order book for sold items will probably do a buy-side order book as well. And you can click these to pre-fill the amount you list your buy or seller order at, but they don't actually match that order directly when you click it. So that is a little quirk that is a bit different than other normal systems you see in other games. Skills, again, please do let me know what you mean by this, but I'll say, yeah, skills need refining, and more skills is always good. What do you dislike? So this is the important stuff. So combat bugs, obviously instability sucks, and I can emphasize with that. So yeah, we're working on refining those. Things that came back, so collection book, items, obtainable, sprites. Yeah, I can understand this one as well. So with the collection book, that stuff will come back as soon as we can. The item book as well, so the log of all the items you've unlocked, that will come back too. And then a lot of the sprites and the art is pretty much stripped out of the game, which kind of sucks if you're in combat and you just see the no skin default for all the enemies. This will change, and actually I'm going to queue up in the background combat really quickly to show you. Where's an easy one? I think it's... yeah, let's do that one. So enter a dungeon. This is pretty neat. It's like Hearthstone. It's kind of the inspo. I'm going to do projectiles for ranged and magic, and like hopefully spells and stuff. But I wanted to demo this in this in this video because I think it's pretty cool. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so yeah, combat. We want to add sprites here. Like you can see it. This is not a cow or a chicken. We will bring the cows and chickens back, so don't you worry. Crafting is a pain in the butt. Agreed. And since that became a thing, we actually launched Quick Craft. Hopefully that solves those problems a little bit. The idea that you can click this, it pre-fills. In this case, you need a tool, so this is actually a bug. It will pre-fill some of the recipe. So hopefully that will solve your problems there. And the recipes as well, maybe make this a bit easier too, because you can just click and craft, and that's it. Any other ideas, do let me know. Getting logged out constantly, I think that's just me changing and deploying stuff, but then also that is where I did write some rubbish code that doesn't handle reconnections very well. That will improve. The sessions at this time were not persisted across startups, so I think some people noticed this and mentioned it, and you were right, the sessions were stored and then deleted, so that's fixed. I like to see my inventory all the times, should be one click away. This is something I want to improve. It's notoriously difficult to get right, especially across portrait landscape modes on mobile, but that is something I want to address, so don't you worry. This is, I think, by Brian. He gave me the screen recording tool, so thank you very much, Brian. Lack of information tooltips. This is a really big one. A lot of people like information, like to see what things are doing. This will come back. So yeah, this is the last thing I've been adding since we ported the new engine and client over, is the tooltips, the information stuff that we used to have that explain things, even though not very well. They got thrown in the bin because it was like, whatever. People know how to play the game for the most part. And then the people that join obviously drew the short straw in that they're in the dark even more than they used to be, especially with the wiki being very outdated now. So apologies, we will sort that out. Tasks are impossible to fulfill. That is still a problem, but that will be fixed. It's on the list. Lack of magic. Do you have strength 1 hand for attack, magic for stars, archery for bows? I think this I don't know about. We'll see. I need to think about that one a little bit more. The lack of magic, yeah, that will come as well. So don't you worry. Be patient. We'll get there soon. Skills don't always succeed. This one is just the nature of the game. I quite like it. There's a failure rate. You can fail to do stuff. I think a lot of the difficulty for us will be trying to balance something that feels good when you join so that you don't fail. And that's where we introduced I think they're called Dawn's Gloves, which you can equip. And basically mean you succeed everything until like level 20. Call it beginner's luck, I guess. And then they're useless after that. But that is what we did to fix it for the short term. But I think there's a lot of rebalancing that needs to be done here. And then sorry everyone for revealing your names. But there you go, you're famous. What do you want to see in terms of monetization options in Glenwich? This is, I guess, the main point of these 3 ones. I probably won't go into much detail on these because it's kind of boring, but obviously we want to be able to pay for servers. Maybe art commissions as well. I'm not too fussed on the money part, though, to be honest. Like, the game's not super expensive to run. With the new engine, things are really getting cheaper. A lot of the costs will be in, I think, more just boring admin and liability stuff. Like, I don't know, if we got sued, I want to not be liable. The company would be liable instead, that the game is under. And that brings kind of financial costs as well. So there is overheads. And there is a spreadsheet that I need to update that has the list of how much everything is to run the game, what we spend the money on. Spoiler alert, I think it's like in dollars, like $200 a month, $150 a month for costs, and it could be made lower. So people do spend money, which I am very grateful for. That does make a dent in the costs. Some months we are breaking even, some months we are losing money, but for the most part it's not terrible. So yeah, if you have supported the game, thank you very much. And we do this section to see how we can, introduce ways for people to get something that they enjoy and hopefully be able to give back to the development and the operational costs of the game. So some of these points are just kind of skins, cosmetics, the usual backpacks for membership, blah, blah, blah. Convenience features like auto crafting. I guess that poses the question of, would we lock away some quality of life improvements behind the membership? Perhaps. We'll see how we go. But for the most part, we don't want to ruin kind of the also the balance of the game, like feeling good. We don't want it to feel like horrible unless you're a member. So yeah, auto crafting is, I think, a free to pay thing as well at the moment. That's pretty much it. Yeah. So there's the feedback, a little bit over. I think it took me 10, 12 minutes. I hope that wasn't too boring. This will probably be, this is my 3rd or 4th development log, and I hope I can do one in maybe the next month or so. So yeah, stay tuned. Thanks for all of your support, and see you in the next one.